Welcome back to Lateral G's.
I'm Travis,
And I'm Justin.
and this is episode 2 of our 87 Integra Project series.
In this episode, we continue to tear down our Project Integra.
First, we disconnected the clutch line and then moved it out of the way. Next, we disconnected the fuel line.
The power steering area was a bit cramped and there were a lot of bolts to remove.
Even working together, it took us a while to get everything undone.
The exhaust hangers were stuck in the mount, so we had to cut them off.
While we were under the car, we decided to go ahead and disconnect the shift linkages from the transmission.
Wow.
I managed to only hit my hand a couple of times while punching out the spring pin.
There we go. Alright. With those out of the way, it's time to disconnect the exhaust system. Everything was going smoothly until we got to the third bolt.
Why is it so difficult? This is ridiculous. The rust probably made it cross-threaded or something.
Something's up with this, man. Wow. What's the problem? Unbelievable. There we go.
The next step was to remove the axles from the transmission. To do this, you disconnect the lower ball joint and separate it from the hub, but this ball joint wouldn't budge. So we tried jacking up the front knuckle and hitting it with a hammer a few times. But that didn't work either. The ball joint was completely stuck. We were left with no other option but to cut it free. I started tearing away the ball joint boot in order to gain access to it with the angle grinder. I was careful not to cut the lower control arm or the knuckle since we're going to reuse both of them.
Here we go. Crap everywhere.
After that, we removed the axles from the hubs and pulled them out of the transmission.
And we didn't skip this part because we forgot to film it. Next, we disconnected the radiator hoses.
Then I disconnected the heater hoses.
Next up was the AC compressor. After that, we disconnected the vacuum box and line that went to the cruise control.
We connected chains to the engine to secure it in place while we disconnected the engine mounts.
Hopefully, they'll do this kind of one with an extra shroud on it too.
Yeah.
I spent quite a while under the engine disconnecting one of the mounts.
Then we disconnected the other two mounts that held the engine.
Well, that's the engine mount.
After that, we lifted the engine completely out of the car once we made sure everything was disconnected.
Where are that? Oh, there's a jack in there. Yeah, he's dead.
With the engine removed, we've crossed the first milestone in this big project.
Be sure to keep an eye out for episode 3 by subscribing to us on YouTube and checking us out on Facebook.